So, why do 25% of people show little or no benefit from gratitude journaling? And 10% of those people even report it makes them irritable or uncomfortable. And for adolescents in difficulty, the response is much worse, with nearly 50% of unhappy teenagers showing minimum or no response. Two issues that consistently show up in these journaling trials, which why to ante the effectiveness of gratitude journaling and create resistance, are simple attenuation, the effect lessens with repetition, and also simply not being in the right headspace to foreground gratitude due to trauma or grief or depression. So let's talk about that repetition. And with that, you'll see that tied in is a kind of vagueness around what they're recording. So writing, "I'm grateful for my health" every day becomes a rote task without any emotional charge, like a rote prayer. And this gratitude fatigue is almost inevitable for clients who are not natural enthusiasts. People get bored and disconnected. It becomes a task. They don't feel anything at all and usually drop the practice. And because of the dullness of repetition, you should consider setting gratitude prompts as a time-limited exercise so that they experience a win. Or you can simply turn it into a session about when you feel sated and when to stop, etc. The secret to keeping gratitude fresh is to make the task harder by chunking down, either to one aspect of their life or in their descriptions to get more detailed. For instance, focusing on the colours, the textures, reporting the words said and the words that weren't said, and why it mattered and how it felt. Or you can get them out of their heads and into pleasant sensory details of the situation they are in right now. You know, the warmth of the cup in the hand, the creamy, bitter taste of the coffee, the sense of their body settling as they take a moment. In general, moving between internal and external descriptions is one of the keys to satisfying journaling, capturing what's happening inside us and what's happening outside. And that forces a shift in viewpoints, moving out of stuck and even rigid positions. And there's so much to say on this, I'm going to make a separate video. So let's move on to the other reason that gratitude journaling fails, and that is because it can feel like invalidation. You can well imagine that a client who is dealing with trauma or grief or depression might feel that being asked to perform being grateful means you are either ignoring their pain or asking them to ignore their pain. So that introduced too early and without attunement, gratitude journaling can land as toxic positivity and create a break in the therapeutic relationship. And having said that, it can also be a powerful way to take a moment each day to choose life. So gently does it, and timing is everything. You can begin by letting clients know they don't need to choose between gratitude and struggle. Rather than forcing positive statements, they can simply start by writing their recent feelings and difficulties, and then alongside that, remember a moment of relief, something that went right. And it might sound something like, "It's been a rough day, lots of crying, and I'm so drained and sick of hurting. But then, on the veranda, I heard a bird singing, and I remember that the world is still going on." Frame it for them as holding the whole picture, which acknowledges the reality of their struggles, while still allowing a moment of light to enter. An exercise specifically for grief is to ask them to remember 3 things they are grateful for about their loved one and their time with them. And that can be a really lovely, powerful exercise. And for depression, the classic wording can be softened to writing 3 things that are okay, that work. Just chunk it down to a task that feels doable. But my favourite version of this exercise shifts the perspective entirely in a way that I find empowering, and have found also acts as a bit of an antidote to trauma and grief and depression. And that's the task of writing 3 things you did well since you last journaled, which to me is a meaningful act of self-appreciation which focuses on things that are under my control and also reinforces my efforts in the right direction by noticing and recording. By introducing gratitude journaling to your clients with this level of nuance, you transform it from a simple self-help task into a powerful, psychologically informed tool for resilience. So thank you for watching another micro lesson from Consult Yourself. To download a free guide on what we've talked about today in integrating gratitude journaling into your practice and also a list of all the prompts that I've mentioned, just click in the notes below. Thank you and see you next time.